Good evening, one and all. I'm Ms. Jyoti Joshi, Assistant Professor in Information Technology Department of DY Patil Group's deemed to be University, Ramre Avadik Institute of Technology, popularly called as RAIT, would like to welcome you all to the webinar series conducted by IT Department in association with RAIT Motive. Webinar series are inspired by motivation given to us by Dr. D.Y. Patil Sir, founder of Dr. D.Y. Patil Group, and Dr. Vijay Patil Sir, Chancellor of Dr. D.Y. Patil University. RAIT firmly believes in the new form of engineering education that lays equal stress on academics, leadership building, and extracurricular skills with industry exposure. This has been a major contribution to the success of RAIT students. RAIT has highest number of campus placements in Mumbai region. RAIT is one of the most reputed institutions for engineering courses. RAIT has ranked in first 100 universities by NIRF and is continuously accredited by NAC. When you have enthusiasm and passion, you end up figuring out how to excel. RIT College has the culture of continuous learning. Faculties and students are always passionate about exploring new advances in the technologies by participating in workshops, hackathons, tech talks, projects, and many such events. Today, we have one such enthusiastic speaker, Mr. Pranav Nandankar, with us for the webinar on the topic Entrepreneurship Development Phases. This webinar will give an exposure to the process of entrepreneurship development, phases of entrepreneurship development, and its need for the economy of the country. It involves incursion, development, and polishing of entrepreneurship skills, knowledge in participants for which are required by them to establish and successfully run the entrepreneurship. This will help a person in strengthening his entrepreneurial motives and in acquiring the skills and capabilities necessary for playing his entrepreneur role effectively and efficiently. Before I hand over the session to the speaker of the webinar, I would warmly welcome Mr. Pranav for today's webinar. And I request now Ms. Varsha Sanap ma'am to briefly introduce our speaker. Over to you, Varsha.
Thank you, Jyoti ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I take a great pleasure to introduce our expert speaker for the session, Mr. Pranav Nandankar. He is Executive Vice President of Marketing, leads a team focused on growing revenue and enhancing the partners and B2C experience for customers while driving sales strategy and market development. He has expertise in implementing predictive analysis and customer trends report to increase ROAS and grow e-commerce conversion rate. He is certified Scrum professional and RPA business analyst. Now I would like to hand over today's session to Mr. Pranav Nandankar for a wonderful and interesting webinar. Over to you, sir.
Hello, thank you so much, Varsha ma'am. So I think, let's get started. So basically I'm just, I will just share my screen. So yeah, so let's get started. So basically, today's a topic of discussion is like how an individual can develop an entrepreneurship and can help in a growing economy of our country. So basically, before we even start, I just want to know who here really wants to become an entrepreneur. Like maybe you are just starting up in a college and you have some brilliant ideas and you want to have a positive impact in someone's life. That's why you want to become an entrepreneur. So basically there are three reasons individual decide to become an entrepreneur. The first reason, it might look funny, but yeah, some of them might want to look cool in the campus, like I'm an entrepreneur, like I run a business. And second reason might be okay, fine, entrepreneurship can give you a lot of money, right? But it's not true. Some startups may fail at initial phases of your business, and some startup may get a that dream fundings, and that will make you a more money. But the most important thing that you should become an entrepreneur is that you want to make a positive impact on someone's life. And that's what I chose. I chose a path like, okay, fine, I have some, idea and I have the skill set and I want to use that skill set to improve someone's life. So that's when we started Loomfox. So I will just give a brief about who I am and what is Loomfox. So basically, I'm a co-founder and vice president of marketing at Loomfox Private Limited. I always been very passionate about learning new things, creating new things, and marketing new things. And I really thank RIT. RIT just feels like a home. You have awesome faculty, awesome students. So you are naturally a learner and a creator. So RIT helped me a lot, learning new skills, creating, working on new projects, and then showcasing to the world. So we had our basic ideas that there are Amazon, Flipkart in the world to help a manufacturer to sell their products online. But what about the rural artisans? Like we in India have a massive pool of talent in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, but they don't have access to go online. So we at Moonfox has a purpose and vision that we want to help every rural artisans, weavers, and creators out there to sell their products online. So we personally flew out to Bengal, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh to connect with lot of creators over there. We made them tech enabled because selling your product online like a platform like Amazon, Flipkart, it's very difficult. Like you need to have a GST registration. You should have your company registered, and that's just so much compliances for any rural person because they don't know how to read English, right? So we want to make a solution for them that okay fine, we want to make a product as simple as that, like a WhatsApp, chatting on a WhatsApp, and with the help of WhatsApp you can sell your products online. So we visited a state of Bengal, Bihar, and we onboarded around 100 viewers onto our platform. Now, Loomfox work with the government of Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, and Northeastern Handicraft Society, and we help directly and indirectly 350 viewers to sell their products online. So that's the short brief about me and Loomfox. Now let's get start with like what you can expect with this workshop. Like we will be covering like what should be the purpose of startup, how you should what the methodology or framework for a design thinking for an entrepreneur, how you can craft your one page business plan. Like suppose if you have a business plan and you should be able to explain your business model in one page, so we will gonna learn how you can how you can present your business idea in one page. Then we will learn about product adoption cycle, like how your product goes from 0 to 1. And then we will also look at it will be like a brief introduction, like how we can develop a BCG growth matrix for your startup. And then last but not least, to skill required for becoming a successful entrepreneur. So basically you just need two things to start your startup. The first thing is you need a service or a product, and second thing is you need a customer who are willing to pay for the service and the product. So basically because earlier used to like startup, like they used to hire a lot of people, but nowadays there is a new term known as lean startup. So concept of lean startup is very simple. It's like any organization in search of sustainable business. The purpose of your startup should be like you should be searching for a customer who are willing to pay for your solution, and your job as an entrepreneur is to execute that process, like implementing various business strategies to find that customers. So basically before standing before searching for the customer, you should know about like what's your business model is, what's your business is, and what's your startup stand for. And to start a startup you need to design a startup. So there's a 5 step framework to design your startup. The first thing is empathize. So in this first step, it's all about customer discovery. Like like customer can be anyone. Like you have to observe in your environment, like what are the problem faced by a customer. You observe it and you just write down, okay fine, maybe few people are are dealing with hair loss issues. That's the problem. Like, and you can work on that problem to give them a solution. That's what your work is at a defined stage of design thinking. You have to define the problem the customer is facing. Okay, for the loom folks, the problem was the rural artisans and weavers was not able to sell online because they don't have a knowledge and a technology to sell their products online in the platform like Amazon or Flipkart. So that was the problem statement what Loomfox is was trying to solve. Then you come up with the idea. Okay, fine. No, there's the customer. I found a customer. I found the problem of the customer, and I found a problem statement. Now I have to ideate on the problem statement that how we can solve that problem, and we can provide a solution in the market that okay fine, if you use my solution, it will solve your problem. Like suppose for us, like we had a a product for a rural artisans and weavers. So that was our idea. But to go in a market, you should know that okay fine, your product is sustainable or not, because testing requires a lot of money. And as a startup, your aim should be saving the money, not spending randomly, because obviously at the startup kind of you don't have any funding. So you have to manage your finances. So that's when you don't just directly jump into market. You first take a feedback. So that's when you develop a prototype, or we also call it as a minimal viable product, that is MVP. And then we test it around to the customer segment. Like we test different market, and we take a feedbacks. And after the feedback, you improve on that idea. And let's now we will just discuss about like how you can develop your minimal viable product. Okay, fine. So this is how the a product market fit looks like. The product market fit means being in a good market with a product that can satisfy the market. So market is nothing but a people like me, people like you. Basically, market is filled with us, and people have problems, a lot of problems. Maybe I have a problem like I have to travel to the destination, and I need to book a cab. I need a cab, but to book a cab, I have to go to the main road, and I have to bargain with a taxi driver and a book a cab. That's when a Uber took up that problem and gave us a solution. Okay, fine. You don't have to go to the main road and bargain with the taxi driver. You can just open the app and book the cab yourself. So market is filled with peoples, and peoples have problem. So you just have to identify those problems. Like okay, fine. People A has this problem, people B has this problem, and then you have to provide that solution into your product. Like suppose like as I told earlier, like people may have the hair loss issues. That's their problem. So your product, how your product is solving that issue. So when you find that spot between okay fine, people, there is a need in the market. Like there are a lot of nowadays, a lot of people are losing their hair, and there's a demand for that product. So that's when you will find there's this sweet spot. Like okay fine, there is a demand for my product. And that's okay, that's why you can validate your idea. Okay fine, there is a need for my idea. Now we will just build up like how you can define your business model in one page. Basically you can define your business model in one page using a business model canvas. So business model canvas is nothing but a management lean starter template for developing a new documenting existing business model. Is basically a chart that that you can visualize your entire business model in a one page. Because nowadays the important thing is time. The If you reach out to the investor don't have time to look up on your a 20 pages each day. Investor wants something like okay fine, you have a startup idea, you have the solution to the problem, explain me the solution in one page. So that's when you will be in need of business model canvas. So business model canvas looks like something like this. So basically you have the first block is like your key partners. Then what are the key activities that will be required to run your startups? Who are the key resources required in your startups? What are your value proposition? What are how you will carry forward the customer relationship? Like suppose if you are into B2B startups, like you are dealing with, suppose you have a solution for a bank. So when you are deal with B2B, so B2B solution, they expect some level of customer relationship for it from you. And then we you also have to define like what are your customer segments. So basically, I have just made one business model using a Uber example. So let's see. Uber is a cab booking is a cab booking application. So basically, who are the customers of Uber? The customers of Ubers are passengers, that are us, and a drivers who will be driving us from one destination to another. That's the basically a customer segment for the Uber. And what are their value proposition? So the point of value proposition is, in value proposition you have to identify the problem of the market and how you can solve that problem. So basically, what were the problems before Uber? Like the taxi were expensive. There were no travel invoices, because obviously no driver used to provide us a travel invoices for that. No driver background. This was the problem before the Uber. Like there was no availability of stuff, and there was no luxury in traveling from a cab. So Uber identified all this problem and just gave a solution. Like for expensive taxi, they provide us affordable taxes. That's like invoices. They gave us travel history. That were the solution. Background check. They gave us verified drivers. Availability. They ensured like cab will be available anywhere. And then obviously earlier there was just the Kalipili cabs like in India, but with the help of Uber, like now you can travel in luxury cars also. Now in channels, what are your medium to reach out to customer? What are the key mediums that you will use to reach out to the customer? For Uber, that is a mobile app. Obviously you need an app to reach out to the customer so they can book your cab services. Nowadays, the second most important thing is social media. Nowadays people spend more time on social media than anywhere else. So the second channel for Uber is social media, and third is obviously search, because obviously people nowadays search for, okay fine, I need to book cab, where can I book cab? So these are the three initial channel Uber focused on. Now the most important thing is how you can keep the customer relationship, how you can maintain it. So basically you can measure a NPS. NPS is nothing but a net promoter score. That is basically it scores from 1 to 5, how satisfied your customer are with your service or product. The second thing, the second channel for customer relationship was chatbots. The Uber used chatbot to solve the queries of their customers. And the third most important thing was social media listening, because earlier when Uber was launched, people were sharing it on Twitter, like, okay fine, this service is like beautiful, I was able to book a cab with the help of my app. And what are the revenue modes for your startup? So for Uber it was like 20% commission for each ride. Then who are the key resources? The service-based startups, the key resources are engineers and developers. Uber highly is a tech startup that they continuously keep on hiring engineers and developers, because that's their key resources. Because if platform fails, they are out of the business. So the main key resource for their business is engineers and developers. And second most important key resources for Uber is drivers, because obviously if Uber don't have drivers, there is no business. And third key resource is HR, because obviously there are like lakhs of drivers that are registering on the Uber platform. So to maintain a human resource, they need an HR person. So these are the three key resources Uber identified. And what are the key activities that you will be carry forwarding to get your customers? The first thing is Uber they wanted to recruit as many drivers they can, because obviously the more drivers is there, the more availability they have. The second thing, the second activity they need to carry is background check. because obviously they provide solution that okay fine, on our service you will only get a verified drivers. And third important activity is marketing, because obviously if you don't market a service, people will not know okay fine, there is this solution for your problem. And then there are the key partners, which are basically investors and car owners. So with the help of business model canvas, you can basically explain your startup idea in a one page. So you put all your pointers in these columns, and you get yourself a one page business model to present to your investors. Okay, now we will look at like what are the product adoption curve in startup. This is very important for any startup. Like because obviously what happens, entrepreneurs, they gave up so easily, like because for your solution to work in a market, it requires a time. Like it's nothing it's not an overnight thing, like you provide a product in the market and it just starts automatically. It's a long run. So you have to wait for that perfect timing and perfect place for your startup to fly off the wings. So basically the product adoption curves explains like okay fine, what is how your products reaches to the market. When you launch the product, the first people who buy your products are innovators. They are interested in technology, and they are okay with, because they assume themselves like okay fine, if I buy this startup, they accept okay fine, this startup will have some flaws, some bugs, but they are okay with it because they are the tech enthusiasts and they are innovators and they love to try new things. Now if you move towards the product adoption curve, there are early adopters. So early adopters, they require some kind of review, like okay fine, they need okay fine, okay this product is good or not. When they find good, they start adopting your product. So they are basically a visionaries. And the third most important, where the money lies for your startup, is early majority. So for early majority, basically you need to find the product market fit. Because if your product don't satisfy the market need, your startup will fall from this track. So to reach to the early majorities, you need to have a product market fit. That is, your solution should solve a problem and there should be demand for the solution. And when you reach to the early majority, then basically it's just a downfall for your product. Then there are late majority. The late majority is like laid back people who find a lot of people are adopting, are using Uber or Amazon. Let me check it out, like how that startup is working. Like okay, is it viable or not? Then at the last curve at a product adoption cycle is laggards. Laggards are basically something like they're skeptic. Maybe they are low on money, or maybe because they are very skeptical about the product. Like suppose for to give an example, let's take an example of iPhone. Like when when iPhone releases a new iPhone, the laggards are the people who will buy the previous versions of iPhone. Because obviously to reach to these people, the startup has to decrease on their pricing, and they have to change their position. So that's when the laggards acts, when there is some change in pricing or a position. So as as I gave the example of iPhone, because if iPhone releases iPhone 10, so they decrease the prices of the previous versions of iPhones. Like iPhone 11 will get cheaper. So that's when the laggards get interested in a technology, because they need a change in pricing or change in positioning for them, because they are very skeptical about spending money on your startup. So this is basically a the product adoption curve, like how you can go from this end to this end. Like, but your aim should be to reach to the early majority, and to early majority you should have a product market fit. So okay fine, basically you have your business model sorted. Now how, if you have like you have introduced two or three more product lines and services on your startup, and you want to segregate your revenue, like which product or service is giving me a maximum revenue. Because obviously the product which is giving maximum revenue, you should invest more money on that product. So basically, to understand that, first, to understand the BCG growth matrix, share matrix, first, let's understand how you can calculate a product size, market size. So basically, suppose you live in a country whose population is 100, just 100, and you are someone who is selling bread. So now in the case that bread is required by all the 100 people, so market size become 100 and your market share become 100%, because there is no competition for you to beat on. But there is another person who comes afterwards and starts selling bread. Now now some people, out of these 100 people, maybe 30 people decided, okay, fine, this bread is expensive, I want a cheaper version of the bread. So they move to this person and they start buying from this person. So in that case, the market share for this person will be now 70%, and market share for this person will be 30%. So basically the conclusion of this is, the more competition you have, that that will decrease your market share. Suppose if there is another person is selling a bread, so there will be decrease in market share for this person also and this person also. The more competition you have the less market share for your product. Like here, like a market share is nothing but the percentage of market that company controls, and market growth is the rate of that market is expanding. Now let's just let's just visualize, you can find what is BCG growth matrix and how you can use it for on your startup. So there are like four quadrants of BCG growth matrix. So there's like on this side there is market growth rate, like it goes from low to high, and here is relative market share, like it goes from high to low. Suppose, if you are in the quadrant of top, so here you don't have any high brand position. No one knows about you, no one knows about you, and you are into very competitive market. Like suppose if I want to sell like sleepers, because if you are selling sleepers, you don't have any high brand position, and your market is very competitive. So in that case, if your startup is into this quadrant, you need to sell that startup, and you need to invest your money in different startup. If you move this quadrant to this, that is a question mark. This question mark is very interesting quadrant. So this, if your startup is into this quadrant, that means you have a small brand positioning. That may be not a big brand positioning for your product, but you have some brand recognition. Okay, fine, people know about your brand, and you have the potential of market growth. Like suppose, maybe the right now for the market size for your product is 100, but what if there will be like, and after 5 years the market size is gonna be double up, because a lot of people may be having those issues later on. So this is very interesting for if your startup is into this quadrant, you have to keep on testing upon new ideas, pivoting your startup ideas. Like, okay, fine, you have one startup, but how you can test it into different markets. If you're into this quadrant, my suggestion is keep on testing. And then if you move from question mark to stars, the star quadrant is like, this is the quadrant where every business wants to be. Like you have very large brand positioning. For example, Apple iPhone. Like iPhone has very large brand positioning, and they have potential of market growth. Like nowadays, mobile have large market potential. Like the mobile market growth is like growing day by day. So this is the kind of quadrant every business wants to be, that you have high brand positioning and you have potential of market growth. There's where the revenue lies in. So if your startup is into stuff, you have to generate as much as revenue as you can. So if you want to visualize this in terms of Apple, so if I want to keep the product line of Apple, I will keep iPod here, because nobody nowadays uses iPod. So what Apple does, what this, they discontinued the production of iPod and they started selling it in discount. If I want to keep another product of Apple, that is I will keep MacBook in a question mark pattern, because obviously nowadays there is a potential of market growth for the laptops, but MacBook as such don't have any big brand positioning, because nowadays people still prefer Windows laptop over the Mac. So if I want to keep the one product of Apple, I will keep MacBook in this quadrant, and I will keep iPhone in a star, because obviously they have a large brand positioning for iPhone, and the market for mobile phone is just growing day by day. And the last quadrant for the BCG growth matrix is cash cow. The cash cow is the market where you have a large brand positioning, but market growth is very low. For example, iPad, because nowadays there is no market growth for like a iPad, basically a tablet market. There is low market growth for a tablet, but you also have a low competition. So you have a large brand positioning, like Apple has a large brand positioning for the iPad, but the market growth is very low. No one wants to use tablet nowadays, because everyone is satisfied with their mobile phones or their iPhones, so they don't feel a need to buy a new iPad. So you have a large brand positioning, but the market potential growth is very low. So in that case, you have to extract money from this, and you have to invest in these two quadrants. Like like uh, apple should sell their iPad as much as they can when there is still a market growth, and they should invest their more money on iPhone and MacBooks. So that's how, with the help of BCG matrix, you can define that, okay, which product and which service you should invest your money in, and which product and which service you should discontinue from your startup. Because to be honest, not all ideas or not all products are going to work for your startup. Okay, now before we go into like what skills are actually required for entrepreneur, I just want to show you one thing, like how you can come up with the your business idea with the help of a data. Like suppose there is one tool called as Google Trends. So you can just Google it like Google Trend, and it will show up something like this. So suppose you decide, okay, fine, I want to be in the business of umbrella. Like I have developed like IoT enabled umbrella, smart umbrella that will help people. But if you just type in umbrella in a Google search, Google will show you very interesting plot. It shows you a pattern for a demand of umbrella. If you look at it, there is a demand for umbrella in around May to August. This is in 2016, 2017. It's same. It starts, the demand for the umbrella starts in May and ends in August and September. It's similar for each and every year. 2018 is same. 2019 demand starts in May, June, and demand decreases in the month of August and September. And it same goes to year of 2020. Like demand started in June and demand decreases in September. So if you want to start a umbrella business, like you have like a solution for a rainy season, so you can't launch your startup in the month of January or December, because there is no need or no market demand for umbrellas. So no one will buy your solution. If you want to launch your umbrella, you should launch at the month of May. That's when the demand of umbrella is going up. So that's how you can use a data to to validate your idea. Suppose I search a sweater, like sweater. you will see a similar kind of pattern for a sweater also. So it's very important as an entrepreneur, like what is the right timing for your product. Like if you look at the comparison between umbrella and sweater, like the demand for umbrella is in June to August, as well as for the demand for sweaters are from August to February basically, and it's same for all the years. So if you decide, okay fine, I want to be in the business of umbrellas, so I suggest, okay fine, you should also start planning for the winters, because if you start umbrella business, you will be out of your business by the winters. So because there is no market demand for umbrellas, but there is a market demand for sweaters. So if you are selling umbrella, you should also think about selling a sweater, because selling a different product will give you a long run in business. If you decide, okay fine, I don't want to sell umbrella, I just want to sell sweaters, if you start selling sweaters, you are out of business on till summer, because there is no demand. So as an entrepreneur, you should time your product launches very strategically, because it shouldn't be like intuition, okay fine, मेरा मन कर रहा है तो मैं अभी भी प्रोडक्ट को लॉन्च कर दूंगा. Because there is a right time and right market demand for each and every solution. You just have to use data for that. Like suppose, okay fine, you need to start your gardening, you are into gardening product. So basically this is a gardening solution in the USA. So you will find a similar pattern for each and every solution. Like okay fine, gardening, like okay fine, people start searching for gardening in the month of April, and the market demand goes on decreasing at certain time period. Same if you want to start your baking company, just search a baking company, and it will show you a very interesting pattern. It's same for each and every solution. Like you will see a pattern for your product launches. If you want to start your baking startup, it should be in between the month of August and January. If you start your baking startup in April, there is no demand or very low demand in comparison to the month of August, in the month of November and December. People are searching for baking products in the month of November and December. So as an entrepreneur, you have to strategically find out what is your right time and right market to launch your product. Now we will just move on with our presentation. So we saw, like how you can come up with the idea with the help of data, how to strategically identify the right timing for your product launches. Now the most important thing is, what are the skill required for an entrepreneur. And you read it right, no, it's not a coding, because as an entrepreneur, your job is to have a purpose and a vision. The purpose to create a positive impact in person's life, and to build a team to reach that vision. So basically, according to me, there are the three skills you require to become a successful entrepreneur. The first one is to analyze. You should learn how to analyze data, situation, basically everything. Like because as people keep on saying like, okay, data is new oil. So that's why the demand for data analysts and data scientists are increasing day by day. You should be a person who should read data, who should analyze the market. Okay fine, what is the market situation. Like in COVID, like you should be able to analyze, okay fine, COVID, there is no use of office, so you should be a key driver. Okay fine, we should leave our office, and we should start working from home, because leaving office will save me a lot of money. So you should learn how to analyze data and a situation. The second most important skill is, you should learn how to identify and define business processes. Because as an entrepreneur, you're short on one thing, that is time, and your startup should save time. So when if you learn how to identify and define processes, with help of robotic process automation, you can actually automate lot of process and you can save upon a lot of money. Like basically, I personally use a tool called Zapier and Automation Anywhere. So with the help of such tools, you can actually automate your business. And in Loomfox, we actually implemented a Zapier and automation area. And with the help of such automation tools, we were able to reduce down on our business processes by 50%. Like, we need to hire less people because of we identify the business processes. Like, with the help of such tool, you can automate a repeating task. and third most important skills you require as an entrepreneur is how to manage people, time and finance. Because as an entrepreneur, your job is not to sit on computer and to code your solution. As an entrepreneur, you should learn how to manage people, how you can manage your time and how you can manage your finance. Because these are the three pillars of your startups. Because if you don't have people in your startup will fail. And if you don't separate out a timing for your startup, like, because speed matters. Like, because you have to enter into market as soon as possible, so you have to manage your time. And third important thing is finance. Like, how you can utilize your funds optimally to enter to that market. So if you want to become entrepreneur, I suggest you should focus on three things. Learn how to analyze data and situations. Second most important thing is learn how you can identify and define business processes. One, if you are able to identify and define processes, you can actually automate lot of your hard work. And third and most important thing is you should learn how to manage people, time and finance. Okay, now let's see how you can start your startup today with nothing. Because as a student, we are short on one thing, that is money. Because obviously, you don't have a lot of funds in your bank to start your startup. Because starting a startup requires at least some amount of funds to start. But if you are really passionate about becoming an entrepreneur and you want to start your business, how you can start your business like without having no money. So basically, this is the framework which I developed. Like, every one of us has some sort of hobbies. Like, maybe I love gardening. Maybe some you must love baking cakes. You must be a guitarist. We all have some sort of hobbies. So what I want is you should convert your hobbies into skills. Because people give money for skills, not for hobbies. So I want you to work on your hobbies and develop that into skills. Once you develop your hobbies into skills, you should start building your portfolio. If your hobbies is gardening, you should start building portfolio. Start creating content about writing blogs about gardening, content about gardening. And once you build your portfolio, you should monetize on that portfolio. Well, I will show up one example. Let's take as a gardening as a hobby. So if you are good at, if your hobby is gardening and your skills in it, so you can monetize on your knowledge by launching your online course or workshop. Like, because nowadays education is like a big thing. People are looking like, they want to learn new hobbies or skills. So if you are good at gardening, you can launch your online course or workshop today itself. Like, you can title it like learn how to grow microgreens in your kitchen for your healthy living. If you read to this line, you will get entire entire your startup plan. Like, who are your customers? The people who want to live a healthy living. What are your solution? You are going to teach people how to grow microgreens. That's your solution. Where in So you got, like, you know that the healthy people are my customers, and my solution is I'm going to teach them how to grow microgreens so they can save the money. And once you launch your online course or workshop, then you can learn the art of upselling and cross selling too, because each and every hobby requires tools and supplies. Because for gardening there may be, we require seeds, we require some gardening tools, so you can upsell and cross sell those tools and supplies required to pursue that hobby. And there are two ways to do that. The first thing is that requires, small capital obviously, is that you can create and sell your branded products. Basically, obviously, you can you can manufacture your product, or you can outsource a product. Like suppose, there is a there are plant pots, that's a required, there's a seed, so you can, buy such products in bulk. You can package it under your brand, and you can start selling these tools and, supplies required to pursue that hobby. But this requires some capital, because obviously to sell your branded products you need to manufacture, or buy in bulk. But the second method is very interesting, that requires zero capital. You can sign up for affiliate program and sell other brands. So, there are, a lot of affiliate programs that you can join. There are like Amazon affiliate program, Flipkart Amazon program, Flipkart affiliate program. So you can sign up for this and you can start selling other products. Like suppose, obviously, to learn how to grow microgreens in my kitchen for healthy living, I must be, I'm in need of seeds. I maybe, require some tools to, to grow these microgreens. So people will be searching for this. So you can sell other brand product and you can earn a commission out of that. So right now you have a business plan that you can start with zero rupees. First, you should know what your hobbies are, and you should work towards like how you can convert your hobbies into skills. Then how you can build a portfolio out of the skills, and how you can monetize it. Once you are able to convert your hobbies into skills, then you can, you should earn money from that knowledge, because people are willing to pay for your skills. So this is the easiest way you can enter into, you can start your startup journey with this idea. And this is a replicable idea. Like you can, you can change gardening into baking, and you can launch your course something like this, learn how to bake a cake for your loved ones this Valentine's. That's a fantastic online course you can teach someone. Like learn how to bake a cake for your loved ones this Valentine's. So you know that your customer segment is the people who are in relationship or married, and you also know your product launch timing, that is Valentine's. So this is the best way that requires almost zero capital, and you can start your startup journey. So like, maybe, because I'm just, end of my presentation, so this is what a basically startup culture look like. To be honest, entrepreneurship is it's not easy, it's difficult. Like people doubt you at each and every step, because obviously हर किसी के पास, next बड़ा ideas है. But to reach on to that curve, you have you have to go from, lot of hardship. Like it's not a overnight thing, like okay, you launch your startup and in next week you will start earning in millions. You have to go through the lot of hard work. You have to learn lot of things. Like being an entrepreneur is like, you are a jack of all trade. You should learn how to market, you should learn how to develop a product, you should learn how to manage finances. Because if you learn all this thing, that's when that will lead your startup to the success. So I think, to because obviously entrepreneurship, I think the college and your friends will help you at a great extent. RIT is such a great place to explore your ideas. Grab a few of your friends, discuss on ideas, see what problems society is facing, and how you can solve that ideas. because your idea should create a positive impact in someone's life, because that was my purpose of the life. Like I want to create a positive impact on someone's life, and I'm happy that I'm able to do that with the help of Loom folks. So my so my, if I want to end this presentation with like, think big, but you should start small. To reach that $1 million, you have to start with your first 100 rupee. Start small, take small step every day towards your big goal, because as a student, all you can do is you can improve on your skills, you can manage your time, and you can showcase your skills. So I want is, think big but start small. And to start small, you have to act. So that's the philosophy I follow. I have a big purpose, like I want to reach out to the thousands of rural artisans and viewers. But I started with one viewer, and that one viewer eventually converted into 350 viewers for a Loom folks. And in next year, our plan is to how we can make that 350 viewers into 1,000 viewers. So that's what that's my 2 cents. Like I'm working towards making our society a better place for everyone. So your next startup idea should be creating some positive impact in someone's life. That person can be anyone. Don't just don't just become an entrepreneur just because you want to look cool or you want to earn money. You should become entrepreneur because you are creating a positive impact in someone's life. Because once you become an entrepreneur, lot of people will be benefiting from your startup ideas. You will be employing a lot of people, so you are creating a job opportunity. So our country need a social impact startups like Loom folks. Like there are many other startups that are working for a social good. So I want is like, think big but start small. That's it. I'm open for any question.
Thank you, sir, for such a wonderful session. You started from a very simple concept of what exactly is the entrepreneurship, and then how is the business model, how to plan it, and what all skills a person should have. So, all the aspects you have covered. Now, we will move to a QA session. The session was quite interactive. Many questions we have received on the Facebook. So let's have few questions. The first question asked is from Jyoti Belubi. She's asking how important it is to prepare a business plan. What is the best way to go about preparing a business plan that has some aspects that would be unclear during the initial planning stage?
See, I think having a business plan is very important. The first thing is like, you will get a clarity about your own business. And second thing is, if you are planning to reach out to the investors, you can't, because nowadays investors are not willing to invest in an idea. Investor are looking at is how sufficient or how sustainable your business model is, because the aim of startup is money should make a money. So having a business plan, like I show, like having a business model canvas, that is a one-page business plan.
Yeah.
uh, with the help of business model canvas, you can explain your startup idea in just a one page. So I think having a business plan at initial stage of your startup is very important, because that will just give us a lot of clarity to yourself and to the investors also.
Okay, sir. My next question is from Swapnil Sinde, sir. He's asking what is the impact of design thinking in the field?
Okay. Design thinking, see, I think there is the the sole purpose of design thinking is like, you need to map it out or judge it, like what is the market demand and what is your product positioning is. So basically, if as I give example, like if you want to provide a solution for hair loss, so is there a demand for a hair growth serum? Like if your startup is developing a product of hair growth serum, so is there a potential market growth in that sector? So design thinking is like how I can develop a product that will satisfy a market. So design thinking, if you talk about design thinking, you should have a product and market fit. Like there is a market that consists upon people, and then there is your solution. So there should be a perfect fit of the product and market. So there should the sole purpose of design thinking is like you have to think enough that okay fine, is there any market demand for my solution or not? And to find that, basically design thinking is everything like how I can find that product market fit is.
Okay. Okay. So next question is from Saumi Banerjee, ma'am. The question is, what should be the best platform for advertising our products?
I see. I think the best platform is like there is no definite answer to it. It depends upon what business are you into. But I think there are very limited advertising platform. The first thing is there is a social. Like I think if you want to start with a low budget, I think you should always start with social media marketing, like the platform like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, because people nowadays spend more time on this platform rather than on TV advertisements. So if you want to market your startup idea, you should start with any social media channel where your customer segment are. Suppose you are into B2B solution, like for example, you have the product similar to Salesforce. So the best platform to market that product is LinkedIn, because there is where the lot of companies are, lot of professional are. And if you are into a clothing brand, the clothing brand, how where you can market your clothing brand, you can market your clothing brand on Facebook and Instagram, because that's where the customer, to to identify the marketing platform, you should identify who your customers are, and according to the customer you can identify okay fine, if my startup product is B2B and my customer segment are CEOs of the company, your marketing platform is LinkedIn. And if your startup ideas are the clothing brand, and so your customer segment are maybe maybe a female of age between 20 to 30 years, so your marketing platform should be social media like Facebook and Instagram. So it all depends upon who your customer are.
Oh, great, sir. Answer was very nice. Next question is from Tanishk Naik. He is asking, is advertisement of our product is important? Like advertising a product, how much important it is?
Yes, advertising your product is most important thing, because there is a very golden saying like marketing is a child for your business. Because if you don't advertise or market yourself, people will not know that you exist in a market. There are different methods to market your product. Like you can have a paid marketing, organic marketing, word of mouth, or maybe there are different platforms. Like there's one platform called Product Hunt where you can showcase your product ideas, and you can get a valuable feedback from it. So it depends, because marketing and advertising is very important, because जो दिखता है वही बिकता है, basically it's that. So I think if you have a awesome idea, I think you should start advertising and marketing your product.
Okay, sir. Next question is from Priyanka Shinghane, ma'am. She's asking, how do you advertise your business?
So basically for Loomfolks, we advertise on Facebook, Instagram, and Google. So basically, what happens on Facebook and Instagram? It's all about interest based. So we target, our customer segment that are females at the age of maybe 25 to 55, and we target those customer segment on Facebook, Instagram, and then the other marketing platform for us is Google. The Google is all about keywords based. So these are the three platform we use to market our product. That is Facebook, Instagram, and Google.
Okay. Next question is from Vedant, and the question is how to stay up to date with the market.
There are many news portal or many platform that you can read on day to day basis to to stay up to date with market. My favorite is live mint. So basically live mint covers a lot of startup news, and so you will know about what is what's happening in the market basically. Then there is another platform like your story, you must have heard about. They cover a lot of startup stories. So with the help of this platform you can stay up to date with the market. The first one is livemint.com and second one is yourstory.com. So I recommend these two platforms to stay up to date with the startup market.
Okay. There's one more question, sir, from Jyoti. The question is that if we want to have a survey for B2B business, so are there any firms or websites or some companies that do such kind of surveys before starting a startup? If there is a survey that has to be done, what is the best method for it?
See, to basically survey, there is only one reason to do survey, to like to validate the idea. Like if you want to start, you want to validate, okay fine, how many people are preferring my solution. So what you can actually reach out to the customer where your customer is at. Suppose your customer is on Facebook, you can actually run like a feedback kind of campaign. Like on Facebook you can run a Facebook forms campaign. There is tool called typeform which we use in Loomfox for a service. So basically typeform is nothing but you can create an interactive survey kind of uh, document here, and you can start sharing with your customer or your potential customer, and you can start having answer for your service.
Okay, sir. Thank you for your answer. The question answer session ends here. Now, I would like to give a formal vote of thanks before we end the session. Uh, this session was quite interesting, sir. Can you just stop your screen sharing?
Sure, just a second. uh, just give me, I'm just finding a difficulty.
Yeah, we will wait.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pranav. It was a very informative session with good examples. Business lessons through real time startup analysis was also awesome. We are really grateful to have you today for the webinar. Thanks a lot, Mr. Pranav Nandankar.
And also I would like to thank for RIT for giving such an awesome opportunity to talk to you guys. I think it's wonderful, like that I was able to share a few of my little knowledge I have about startup with my fellow RITians.
It was very nice session, sir, and there were many questions on Facebook. So students and faculties have enjoyed your session. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, and I'm happy to help any students who are into confusion, like where to start upon their startup. So they can
Sure.
they can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and maybe we can have a discussion over there. Anyone who is listening to this.
Yeah, sure, sir. They will, if they have any queries, they'll surely reach you out on the LinkedIn. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
It's time to conclude today's webinar, and I'm Ms. Jyoti Joshi on behalf of Information Technology Department of Dr. D.Y. Patil Group's Ram Ravadik Institute of Technology would like to conclude it with a formal vote of thanks to our beloved founder, Dr. D.Y. Patil Sir, for being guardian angel throughout. My heartful gratitude to our Chancellor, Dr. Vijay Patil Sir, and Trustee Ms. Shivani Patil Ma'am for giving us their unconditional support throughout. I would like to thank Principal Sir Dr. M.T. Patil Sir and Registrar Dr. Tanmay Sinhalkar Sir for their motivation for conducting knowledge sharing webinars. My deepest thank you to Head of Department Information Technology Dr. Ashish Jadhav Sir for their guidance throughout. I would also like to thank Live Media team for their active support throughout this webinar series. Hope to see you all for the next webinar that will be conducted next Tuesday. Thank you all. Stay home, stay safe, and keep learning. This webinar ends here. Bye.